welcome to the next episode of our Keys to Success for Music Majors podcast. My name is Katrina Roush. I'm a professor of music theory at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley.
And I'm Charley Roush. I'm a librarian at UTRGV, and I specialize in music research.
Today, we kind of wanted to just sit down and have a heart-to-heart with you guys. We know that it's a really stressful point in the semester and that you might be getting bogged down with some things. So we just wanted to offer a bit of perspective. I think it's really important to always keep in mind the big picture. It's so easy, especially in the middle of a semester, to just focus on every little thing you have to do because there's so many things you have to do. And sometimes it can be easy to lose a sense of like why you're doing these things or how they fit into your education as a whole. So I just wanted to let you know that it's really important to keep that in mind. So remember where you came from and remember where you're going. So even though you're going to have many little things to do every day, remember why you're doing them. So if you are a music major, presumably there's something about music that you love. There's something that drew you to this profession. And so it's important to keep that in mind. I think it's really easy to lose sight of that when you're so stressed out. For me personally, this happens even now. Happened when I was a student and it happens now. I can get so bogged down in what I have to do every day that I forget that I'm like teaching music. And that's really a fantastic privilege if you think about it. So I just want to encourage you to keep that in mind. Remember specifically why you chose this field and come back to that frequently. I also want to encourage you, if you feel like at some point you're not doing well enough, if you're discouraged by a grade you got or a performance that didn't go so well or a lesson that you wish had gone better, these things happen to all of us. And it's important to keep that in perspective. So of course you do need to do better. And of course you do need to improve. But I always think it's really interesting when you look back at where you've been and how much you've learned. So I like at this point in the semester especially, like go back to an assignment or maybe something in your lesson that you were working on like the first week of the semester and think about how hard that was to do then and how much easier it is to do now. It's really nice to not just look forward to like your goals in your field, but also to look backwards at where you've come from and to see how much you've grown. So I hope that that encourages you.
And another aspect of sort of this type of thing has to do with the inclination we all have to compare ourselves maybe to other people. I don't know why we do this, but we do it. We all do it.
We all do it.
And sort of the weird thing is I think sometimes we look at other people and we assume, boy, they have their act together. They're doing so well and they're so composed and look at me, I'm a mess. And I think we all feel that way. Mm-hmm. All right. We can only see the inside of our own lives and we can see all our faults and failures and we can get discouraged from all this. And it's easy to look at other folks and see just the peaks, right? Not the valleys. We see, oh boy, they have their act together. They know what they're doing. They're not struggling the same way I am. And then we can just compound our sense of inadequacy by continually saying, well, why am I struggling when they're not struggling so much? Maybe I shouldn't be struggling so much. Maybe that's a sign I'm doing it wrong. And you know, you've heard this type of thing described as maybe imposter syndrome. I shouldn't be here. I'm not cut out for this. Other people are doing so much better than me. Just want to encourage you all. This is something we all feel. It's often completely not real. We're all struggling. We're all fighting hard every day, and in a way that can be an inspiring thing because we're not going to let this difficulty we're facing maybe or this tough time, we're not going to let it get the better of us. I just want to encourage everyone, know that what you're doing, you know, maybe it's not perfect, maybe you need to adjust, but it is enough. Right now, I think is a time we all have to cut ourselves some slack. If you're not measuring up to your standards or you need to improve something, for sure, proceed forward, do better, like Katrina said a minute ago. But don't gang up on yourself, so to speak, and make yourself feel inadequate because you don't sense that struggle in other people. Rest assured, we're all going through a tough time. Katrina and I, we feel it every day. And these weird times are just making it weirder and weirder and weirder. So just put one foot in front of the other, keep going, and know that the sum of what you are, the sum of who you are, your victories, your defeats, your strengths and weaknesses. That's who you are. It makes up a very complex person, and it's okay that some things have been difficult. You're going to look back on this time maybe and realize you grew a lot because it was very difficult. And that perseverance we employ right now, and the compassion we show to ourselves, I think is going to help make us stronger and better people. And it's going to help us relate to others better when we realize no one's this perfect, special person. We all are in the same boat, and we're all supporting each other.
I totally agree with that. And I think it is important to remember that we all do have these internal struggles. And it's not so much how you feel that makes you who you are, but how you react to how you feel. So there's not really much you can do, I think, to change how you feel most of the time. It's good to acknowledge that and to know that your feelings are valid, but it's how you react to that, to those challenges, and even to your successes. It's how you react to those things that really make you who you are and build your character. So yes, I do feel insecure every day, but I don't let that define who I am. I still push forward. And I kind of let that, like you said, be like a challenge to myself, what am I insecure about and how can I get better at those things? Another thing to keep in mind is that, we're always talking about what it's like to be a college student and all of that, and there's so much there, but really your learning doesn't stop at graduation. I mean, Charlie and I have both been out of school for a while now, and we're consistently learning new things, and we're always growing as people and as musicians, and we're getting better every day, hopefully, at our jobs. And so that's something that you can kind of rest assured about as well. It's okay if you get to graduation and you don't know everything about music. Our goal in college is to educate you so that you'll be equipped to handle your job. But there's no way that we can teach you everything that there is to know, or everything even that might be helpful for you to know. We do our best, but learning is a lifelong thing. And you'll hear people say lifelong learners, that kind of thing. But it's true. You really are going to have a lot of opportunities in your career, and in your life, just to grow as a person and to become a better musician. And so, the way your level of performing at your senior recital is going to be fantastic, but you will only get better from there as you continue to practice your instrument. Like, think about when you're 50 years old, how much better you'll get. So I just want to encourage you, when you're thinking about the big picture, don't just think about the big picture of what you're learning in college, but the big picture of your entire life and your career and what you'll be able to learn and how you'll grow and be able to shape through that as well.
Sure thing. And I guess one final piece of advice throughout this pep talk episode, if you want to call it that, a point that came up a second ago is that there's something about music that really resonated with you all to make you want to be a major in that field for your whole undergrad degree. And just remember that. And the advice I want to mention has to do with that type of thinking. And the advice is be curious, okay? There's a lot of exciting, really cool things out there. And we're going to spend our whole lives learning about this type of stuff. But I think sometimes we can be turned away from it when we get into this task-oriented procedure of just finish this class, do this test, don't fail this, show up for this, and get your degree at the end. And of course, those are valid tactics. Those are things you need to be thinking about all the time. But don't lose sort of the magic, if you will, of what it's like to just pick up something. I have a very, very quick example. I love to read, okay? It's something I do in my spare time. It's very fun, especially fiction novels. Oh yeah, books. Well, I no matter how much I love to read, I remember a few literature classes I had to take in my undergrad, and they were taught fine. They were great. The professors were fine, but there was something about being required to do this reading for my grade that made it seem a little different. And I found myself, oh my gosh, I have to read now. And it turned into a job. It turned into a task, something I had to do. And I forgot for a minute what it was like to read just because I liked it and it was something fun. And music, I'm believing, is like that for all of us. We love music. There's something about music that really speaks to us. I'm pretty sure no one forced us at gunpoint to take the music degree or else.
Yeah.
So connect with that part of yourself that's curious. We have a lot of resources at the library that give access to all kinds of stuff. Maybe surf around Naxos Music Library or something like that, just to find composers maybe you've never heard of. Listen to some music you just didn't know before because you're curious about it. And I know everyone is so busy, but if you can at all spare some time, I encourage you to just play around with that type of thing a little bit, or go to Grove, even though it's just articles about composers and concepts in music. Maybe find a composer you don't know a lot about and just look at the works list at the end. Gee, I wonder what types of works this composer wrote, or this, I love this composer, but have they written any operas, or what's their string quartet output like? And then maybe go over to Naxos and just listen to that, just for something new and exciting to sort of tackle. Not because you're going to be graded on it, not because someone's asking you to do that to prove that you're worth anything in the field of music, but just for you, just because it's something you like and are interested in. And you maybe want to start forming your own thoughts about this composer or their music. And there's all kinds of ways to do that. We have access to all kinds of ebooks and articles and what have you at the library. And so I know we're used to thinking of the library as a way to find resources to complete my assignments, but just to reiterate, maybe it's worth it too to just explore a little bit and use your curiosity to connect with something you didn't know before, because I really hope that for all of you, you can connect with the fact that music is something fun, something beautiful, something that you really feel a personal attachment to, and that it can help sort of weather the storm of this weird kind of crazy time. And also beyond that, as we're talking about in this episode, lifelong learning. And part of that, I think, just becomes so much more meaningful when we're curious about what we're engaging with, rather than that we're doing something because someone is requiring us to. And so you have to do your classes, you have to pass your tests, you have to get the grade and get your degree, of course. But don't make that be your only immersion into this wonderful field. Really dig in. And even if you're not a music major, exhibit a little curiosity about what you're studying. And I think that's going to be the stuff that just sticks with you so much. Of course, all the other things you're learning will really sink in too, but make it personal, make it something you really identify with, and I think that it becomes much more enjoyable. All right, I think we just have a word or two in closing, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so thanks for being with us today. We just want to put up our contact information again, just in case you have anything that you want to get in touch with us about. Especially if you are just curious about some music resources and you want to learn more about what the library has, you can definitely email Charlie. You can email me too, but Charlie knows more about that kind of thing. And he can point you to some really cool places online, so that you don't even have to do anything in person right now. Places that you can go to listen to music or find out more. And of course, if you have any questions, you can email us about that. And if you have any suggestions for future podcasts or would like to comment on this podcast, please do so either at our email address there or comment on the video. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Alrighty, so that's pretty much it this week. We wish everyone the best. Good luck as the semester is wrapping up and calming down, hopefully. Yeah. Just a few more weeks, and we're about at the holiday break. And even though it was difficult, I think it also kind of went fast in a strange way.
Yeah, and I know I've spoken to some of you, and you guys seem to be doing well and keeping your chin up, so that's excellent. The positive attitude will really help you. So yeah, we wish you well, and we just hope all the best for you guys.
Alrighty,
and we'll see you next week.
Talk to everyone later.
Bye.
Bye.